Welcome to Engineering Track. On the program today, we have Engineer Dr. Mrs. Mojirade Oloruntoba, the Deputy Director Engineering Research, Prototype Engineering Development Institute, PEDI, Ilesha, under the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI. And before we have her in the studio, I want us to see how electric cars are made. My name is Temitayo Fagboro. Welcome you on the program Engineering Track.
The electric car ruled the road early in the 20th century, and then the technology was surpassed by gas. Today the concept is cruising towards a comeback, its resurgence fueled by concerns about pollution from gas-powered vehicles and by worries about overdependence on foreign oil. This sassy-looking sports car is leading the charge for change. Just plug it into any electrical outlet, and after a few hours, it has enough juice for a drive through the countryside, or for quite a few jaunts around town. With no tailpipe, there are no direct emissions, and if the power generated by the electrical plant is clean, everyone breathes a little easier. But with a price tag in the six-figure range, this eco-friendly roadster is a luxury product. Production begins with the first half of the gearbox. A worker bolts a brass fitting to the center, and then attaches plastic tubing to it. The tubing will deliver lubricant to the transmission's bearings. He inserts those bearings into slots in the gearbox and presses them into place using a hydraulic tool. He drips thread locking compound into screw holes and installs a device for locking the transmission. It's called the parking pawl. He applies more adhesive to screws and threads them through the pawl to the gearbox. Using a calibrated torque wrench, he tightens them to a precise setting. The transmission is single speed with 4 gears, which they install in the other half of the gearbox. These are helical gears. Their teeth are cut at an angle for gradual engagement and smooth operation. They're now ready for the rotor and the stator. Both are electromagnets, and together, they'll be the electric motor's driving force. They insert the rotor into the stator, where their 2 electromagnetic fields will interact to create torque, transforming electrical energy into mechanical energy. They hoist the rotor and stator assembly onto the gearbox and bolt them together. They attach cables for wiring the motor to the power electronics module later. It's a crucial part that processes and regulates the flow of battery power to the motor. This completes the electric motor drivetrain. They lower the drivetrain into the back of the pre-assembled car body. They position the motor mounts over slots in the steel subframe. And once in place, they bolt the drivetrain to the chassis. Now under the car, they pull back the rear suspension temporarily to attach the drive axle to the gearbox. The axle is equipped with a rubber-encased joint that allows a rear wheel to react to bumps independently, without reverberation to the other. The battery is next. Seen here in a display model of the powertrain, the metal pack contains more than 6,800 lithium-ion cells and delivers 215 kilowatts of power. Enough juice to enable this electric car to accelerate to 60 miles an hour in under 4 seconds. Machinery now lowers the car onto the battery, positioning it in the front of the gearbox and just behind the car seats. They jack up the battery for a precision fit. They connect wiring for low voltage systems like the lights and fans. And now the brains of the electric car, the power electronics module. They install it on top of the motor and battery and wire it to both. With all the wires connected, The module is equipped to convert DC power from the battery to the AC power. Then the driver steps on the accelerator. With the vacuum system, they drain air from the battery and pump in liquid coolant. Coolant continuously flows through the battery to maintain an even temperature throughout. The body panels are made of durable, lightweight carbon fiber. And with the computer software updated and the car now completely assembled, it's time for a test run. As the sports car accelerates, there's no throaty roar. Unlike a gas-powered engine, the electric motor takes off quietly and quickly.
Welcome back. My guest today, as I've said, is Engineer Dr. Mojurade Olorutoba. Apart from being Deputy Director Engineering Research at PEDI, she has served in Nigeria Society of Engineers as National ESCO member between in 2019 and 2020. She's also the pioneer chairman of Association of Professional Women Engineers in Nigeria, Malaysia chapter. She is also past chairman of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Elisha branch. Her guest, Engineer Dr. Mojurade Olorutoba. You're welcome, ma.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now, as an engineer, a female engineer, engineering profession is known to be male-dominated. What motivated you to this profession?
Well, thank you. Let me start by appreciating you for inviting me to this engineering track, and to thank the management of Osbc for inviting me over. And I want to say a very good evening to our audience at home for joining in and for the love they have for this program. Thank you so much. So let me go back to your question that you asked now. There's no doubt about there are few female engineers in engineering profession. I could remember when I went into engineering, I didn't go because I had a mentor in engineering, no. I remember in my times of secondary school that because I was good in the science subjects. So we were encouraged, most of us that were good in science subjects were encouraged to go further to study engineering. And that was how I found myself studying engineering. But I'm glad that things are quite different from the way it is now, because I know the association I belong to, which is the Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria, we've been making efforts, to encourage more female students to study engineering. We have been making efforts to increase the number of female engineers that we have in that particular sector. So no doubt about it, we have few of us, but the numbers have been increasing ever since.
Okay. Now, what was your opinion of engineering profession before you become an engineer, compared to when you become an engineer?
Thank you so much. Now, let me start from before I became an engineer. It's a well-known fact that people feel it's a man's world in engineering. So any female or any woman find that you are going into that field, trying to find yourself in that, people look at you as a kind of tomboy, as a kind of, maybe you don't really know what you are doing or what you are about to enter into. But the truth of it all is that, right from the times of our being in the university, there is no separated classes for the female and for the male. We're doing the same subjects, the same test, the same exam we wrote. So there's no basic difference between a female engineer and a male engineer. We are all engineers in the same profession. But no doubt about it, it's still a male-dominated profession. And then the numbers of women or female going into it is increasing the more, like I said earlier. So I think there's a lot of difference now, a kind of awareness. I know very well now that what a man can do, a woman too can do. It's not because I'm a woman, so I will not be able to do engineering.
Hey, now, which area of engineering are you?
Okay, I am a chemical engineer. I study chemical engineering, BSc, MSc, and PhD level.
In chemical engineering. Yeah. How is chemical engineering?
Chemical engineering is an aspect of engineering that deals basically with processes, how things are being done, manufactured, and it has, chemical engineering has different aspects, different fields too. The oil and gas sector is part of chemical engineering. When you talk about gas too, it's part of chemical engineering. The manufacturing sector too. We have so many chemical engineering processes taking place there. So basically, chemical engineering deals with processes in the manufacturing outfit.
All right. Now, you talk about manufacturing. This brings to my next question.
Okay.
I want you to appraise engineering research and development in Nigeria.
Okay.
Which level have we compared to other countries?
Well, thank you for your question. No doubt about it. When we talk about research and development in Nigeria, we can still not compare or compete with the outside world. Nigeria is a developing country, and the aspect or the sector of research and development is just being embraced in the country, because there are so many litigating factors, so many factors that are quite discouraging in the course of executing our research and development, so many of them. So we can still not compare ourselves with what is happening in the developed world. Where they have gone, they have so many technologies that they are using to achieve whatever research or development that they have. And the truth about it is that when we are talking about manufacturing, we need to talk about research and development. And when we are talking about research and development, we need to talk about how we want to achieve new products or new services. You understand? So research and development is a very important part of the economy that the government needs to look into.
So where are we getting it wrong? Where are we not doing it right, or where are we not getting to meet the standard that is expected of us?
So many things could be the cause of we are not being at the level in which we ought to be. Let me start from the university environment. I remember when we were in school, the curriculum that I did about over 20 something or close to 30 years ago is still what most universities are still making use of now. So I think if we want to make any changes, we need to go back to our school curriculum and look at how we can overhaul it, look at how we can look into it, so that those things will fit into what it entails in this present world now. So academic basically is part of it, while we are lacking behind. The finance, capital is very important. How many of our research work is the government funding? How many support do we have concerning research and development? Then the skills too. We don't have enough skill. Then the environment in which we find ourselves here is not quite friendly for any research work to take place.
Okay, but I am aware that Nigeria has so many research institutes all over the country.
Exactly.
What impact are these institutes making in development of engineering research and development in Nigeria?
Yeah, just like we have said, we have so many institutes in the country, no doubt about that, but every research institute has their mandate. So it's a matter of those institutes looking into the reason why they are being set up, to go into such research. Let me talk about where I have my work for Prototype Engineering Development Institute, and our major goal is to produce prototypes and to seek those knowledge to the outside world, to the SMEs. We have the skill, we have the technology. It's the matter of seeding it to those people that will need it in order to encourage them. So, and I believe that for other institutes too, following their mandate and achieving the stated objective for which they are set up.
Okay. Now we look at engineering profession itself. When you say we have QUAC, as a past ESCO member of the Nigeria Society of Engineers, what is NSA or COREN is doing in discouraging the QUAC practicing of engineering profession?
Okay, when we talk about quackery, it's not just in engineering, it's almost in every profession. When you go to the medical field, you find some quacks amongst them. So it's everywhere. But I know COREN, being the council for regulating engineering practices in Nigeria, they have been putting on a lot of effort in order to curb such things. But I don't work for COREN, so I may not be able to. But I know they have set up so many processes in which to curb such quackery in the industry.
All right, let's go back to the industry.
Okay.
Let's look at the gap between the classroom and the industry. We have seen so many research work in the school, undergraduate research projects. They have done so many things that's worth showcasing, but many of these things are not found in our industry. What do you think is causing this? That's
a very serious one, and it's a fact, no doubts about that. And I think there are so many factors that is resulting to that is causing that. One of such, if you remember, I talked about the academic curriculum that we have presently. It's not really industry focused. Let me put it that way. It's based more on theoretical aspects, not looking at the practical aspect of it. That's number one. Then when we talk about research, there are different kinds of research, but let me take the academic as a typical example. Most of them deal with, they tend to go into research because of a particular mindset that they have. Maybe because they are lecturers, it's expected that they write a particular number of research papers before the end of the year and stuff like that. So most people go into research just to please the purpose for which they have been established or they have been called to work for. You understand? The other reason is that when the academics most times go into research, they don't bother in the course of conceptualization to discuss with the industry, to know the industry need before embarking on such research. And when they now eventually go into the research and they have the theory of that research, applying it becomes a problem. The other one is I talked about the environment. The environment is not friendly. You know, inadequate infrastructure, inadequate facilities on ground. Even in the course of you carrying out your research, you don't have equipment. So there are times when you need to go outside the country to do some analysis so that you can be able to conclude on the research in which you are doing. Then again, you know, the industry and the academics, they are set up on different goals. The industry is after making profit. Their own is to make profit. Whereas the academics now, their own is to create knowledge or to imbibe knowledge into people. So they have different goals entirely. For them working together may be a problem. And then that is one of the problems in which we are having now.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The program is still Engineering Track, and our guest is Engineer Dr. Mojurade Olorutoba. Okay. Now, let's look at engineering practice. Okay. Is practice of engineering in Nigeria safe for women?
Well, the truth of it all is that, of course, it is safe for women. But you know, as it is here, that is the way it is in the other world. That's the truth about it. Because we, like I told you, I belong to an association, and most times we interact with ourselves, even outside Nigeria. We have sister organizations that we collaborate with. So it is the same problem or the same challenges any woman is facing in engineering in Nigeria that they are facing over there too.
So do we have quack female engineers?
Quackery is everywhere, like I told you earlier. So it's possible.
I thought women are sacred. You know. So
we have quackery. It's very possible. I've not encountered any, but I know it is possible because it is in every profession, whether engineer, whether medical, you have quacks amongst them.
So as far as engineering is concerned, you know, it's easy. A doctor can only kill a person. A mistake of a doctor can kill.
Only one man.
But engineering is mistake.
A lot of people.
Yes.
Look at the building collapse that happens. So many lives go.
Yes, that is the reason why engineering is so important.
Exactly.
Now, how do you think we can face out this quackery?
Like I said earlier, we have a council that is regulating that particular aspect of quackery. But the fact is that we still need to encourage the public that whenever they want to patronize anybody on anything that has to do with engineering related, they should ask whether that current certificate that they certify engineers, or you just want to give your job to somebody that you know is not qualified, but because you don't want to spend money. Because for you to engage me as an engineer in your work, of course you have to pay for my words, for my value into that. And that is what most of these people run away from. They don't want to pay for their services, and those they now engage quackery into what they are doing, which is very dangerous anyway.
Yeah. It is where we pray that quackery will be a thing of the past in Nigeria. And the issue is some of people that want to engage engineers don't even know the difference between an engineer,
qualified engineer, and somebody that is practicing or just doing it for the fun of doing it.
Yes, can you educate us how to recognize a certified engineer? Okay,
like I said earlier, COREN is the council that regulates engineering, and under that COREN we have different cadre of engineering. Okay. We have the technicians, we have the craftsmen, we have the technologists, we have the engineers. And for each of these category of cadres, there is always a certificate awarded to tell you that this particular person is qualified. And there's something we call the annual practicing certificate. So for you, if you want to engage any engineer for any of your project, I think one of the first things that you should consider or you should request from that engineer is a practicing license. What COREN has given that engineer to qualify him to be able to practice in that field of engineering. But most people feel they don't even bother to ask or for the person to show his or her certificate. They just want to engage based on cost and based on price.
And sometimes you want to cut
costs now. Of course, in the course of cutting costs, you cut life and you cut you need to make errors.
Yes, now in engineering projects contract in Nigeria, how can you say government is engaging our indigenous engineers?
Well, let me commend the government first, because I know it's not really an easy thing. Being up there, it takes a lot of things, and there are so many challenges, there are so many things that needs to be attended to. But the truth still remains that our engineers are not. They still need to engage us the more. We are not. I don't think we are. I'm not speaking on behalf of them, but just from what I know anyway, that we are not being engaged enough. Okay. You know, into most of the project that is taking place, even in the country, we are not being engaged enough. No.
Is there not marginalization in terms of, as a female, what are the challenges, let me put it that way, challenges you are facing in this profession?
Well, no doubt, there are so many challenges. I have challenges as a woman. Before I even talk about that, I'm now seen in a male-dominated profession. And some of the challenges is that, you know, one thing I know, as a woman coming into engineering has a lot of challenges that they face. You know, because it is that in the course of their career progression, they tend to lag behind or take some time off work in order to attend to some maybe marital issues, or in the course of childbearing and some other things like that. They tend to lag behind or leave some time out of their job to face their family and now come back to the profession. So these are some of the challenges, and the kind of environment that we find ourselves, that people believe is a man's world. That any woman that is being found in such a profession, they'll keep asking you, what are you doing here? You are supposed to belong to the kitchen. But I think things like that is beginning to change now, because there's enough awareness that has been given to people that a girl is educated just like a man is educated, and should not be restricted to being in the kitchen or facing kitchen alone. There are so many things a woman can achieve, and we thank God that we have females that have been breaking the ceilings. They have been going and achieving a lot of things, and that's enough testimony for us to showcase to the world that what a man is doing, a woman too is doing, and we are doing it so well.
Okay, what message do you have for secondary school students that want to venture into engineering?
Okay, the girls now.
Yes,
okay,
the girls.
Whether girl or boy, we encourage you to join. It's an interesting profession. It's an interesting profession. And to the girls amongst them, there are so many benefits that a girl child that is found in engineering has to benefit. There are so many scholarships out there that is specifically tailored towards girls that are studying engineering. So many benefits. I can assure you that, well, just come on board. There's a lot of things for you to benefit and to bring. You have so many mentors around now. We go to secondary schools, we go to universities to go and encourage them, to go and catch them young, and go and explain different aspects of engineering that we have, or why they need to come into engineering, and that they should not get intimidated. And don't let anybody tell you that because you are a woman you cannot go into that profession. People are excelling and they are doing well in that profession.
All right, that is message for those aspiring to become an engineer.
Exactly.
Now we have some of us engineers that are not encouraged to be part of Nigerian Society of Engineers because they believe that they are not doing enough for us.
No.
What message do you have for them?
You know, the truth is that people keep asking what can NSC do for me? NSC is Nigerian Society of Engineers. What can NSC do for me? But the fact is that you cannot remain on the fence to see what NSC can do for you. I keep encouraging people, anybody that talks like that, participating in NSC now for over a decade thereabout, and I know the benefits involved, and I'm excited, still being committed to doing more jobs for NSC. So it's like you cannot be very far away and be asking what can somebody do for me, what can NSC. Just join. When you join, you now start reaping the benefit. There are so many benefits that is in NSC.
You have to give us some of those benefits. Just a tip of the iceberg.
Okay, let me just say a few. There's room for networking. You know, every year we hold our conference. I think the one for this year is going to be sometimes in, is it November or so. So it's a time for you to network with people, to meet your fellow engineers, to share ideas, to collaborate, to look at the way and the new ways of doing things. So if you keep staying on your own, being a lone ranger, you're not coming for such conferences, you are not meeting with people, you are not interacting, you are not updating your knowledge. How do you want to gain from the benefits of
you know, some people believe that the money that we pay for NSC is just for us to eat and dine.
No, it's not. I disagree with that. A lot of benefits. If you come and you are able to make good use of that opportunity, you are not coming to socialize now, but like I said, like networking and getting yourself engaged in the technical aspect of, you know, there's a technical session during every conferences. So getting yourself engaged during that technical session, so you can add to your knowledge, so that you can even share your own knowledge with us. You understand? And network with people, collaborate with people, meet people in your fields too, and look for the better way of doing things.
Okay, now Koren. Are you satisfied with the service of Koren in regulating and welfare of engineers?
You know, the truth is that we are not there yet, but Koren is still trying. I may not be satisfied presently, but I know they are not relaxing too. They are doing so many things to make sure that life is better for every Nigerian engineers. That I know.
All right.
So we will not be there yet, but we are still we're a work in progress.
on a final note, your parting message to our viewers.
I just want to, firstly, I want to encourage any female students out there. If you have a desire to get the goal and study engineering, please go on. and keep to your goal and achieve your dream, it can come true. Don't get intimidated by people or what people are saying or what the society or the culture is talking about female engineers. You can make it. There are many of them breaking ceilings and making success out of this particular story.
Yeah, our guest, she is a female engineer. And she doesn't stop at her first degree. She did her second degree and her PhD. Are you a female out there? You can get there. Don't be intimidated. What a man can do, a woman can do.
I'll do better.
You say so? She said better, but let's see what you can do. But don't be discouraged.
Exactly.
Encourage yourself, and sky is your limit. It's not your limit. Starting point. Thank you for being part of the show. We believe that you have been blessed with one thing or the other in today's show. If it's so, join us same time next week. My name is Temitayo Fagborum. Bye bye.